Church of Thomas, True Christianity, 5/25/08. I was sent a story a bit ago that deeply touched me. It seemed to represent the true calling of Jesus' teachings. I have helped homeless people and understand the nasty looks cast by members of congregations that need a little refresher course in following Jesus. Here's the story. His name is Bill. He has wild hair, wears a t-shirt with holes in it, jeans, and no shoes. This was literally his wardrobe for the entire 4 years of college. He is brilliant, kind of profound, and very, very bright. He became Christian while attending college. Across the street from campus is a well-dressed, very conservative church. They want to develop a ministry to the students, but are not sure how to go about it. One day, Bill decides to go there. He walks in with no shoes, jeans, his t-shirt, and wild hair. The service has already started, so Bill starts down the aisle looking for a seat. The church is completely packed and he cannot find a seat. By now, people are really looking a bit uncomfortable, but no one says anything. Bill gets closer and closer and closer to the pulpit, and when he realizes there are no seats, he just squats down right on the carpet. By now, the people are really uptight, and the tension in the air is thick. About this time, the minister realizes that from way back at the back of the church, a deacon is slowly making his way towards Bill. Now, the deacon is in his 80s. He has silver gray hair and a three-piece suit. A godly man, very elegant, very dignified, very courtly. He walks with a cane, and as he starts walking towards this boy, everyone is saying to themselves, you can't blame him for what he's going to do. How can you expect a man of his age and of his background to understand some college kid on the floor? It takes a long time for a man to reach the boy. The church is utterly silent except for the clicking of the man's cane. All eyes are focused on him. You can't even hear anyone breathing. The minister can't even preach the sermon until the deacon does what he has to do. And now they see this elderly man drop his cane on the floor. With great difficulty, he lowers himself and sits down next to Bill and worships with him, so he won't be alone. Everyone chokes up with emotion. When the minister gains control, he says, what I'm about to preach you will never remember. What you have just seen, you will never forget. Be careful how you live. Be careful what you speak. Do not judge others. You may be the only Bible some people will ever read. I have had occasions where I was made to feel unwelcome in the clothes I wore to a worship service. I have often sat in the back pews because it was where the action is. New people can sit down without being noticed. They can slip out if they do not feel welcome or in the right place. Those front pews are informally reserved for the regular members, the people who give lots of money and expect to be seated there. In the back, I quietly made welcome new folks and comforted those who needed my help. At first, this was accepted as just strange. Old Angel is staying out of the way. Later, when they realized what I was doing, they should have been volunteering to do. They made a big show of going to the back. I laughed because their marching up the aisles actually scared these new folks. The people I talked with on their own terms stayed for fellowship afterwards. I continued to do what God told me to do there in the nether regions of the church. One day I heard something very interesting. I was seated in the back as usual. Along came two women that had spoken with me the first time they attended. There was room next to me and I invited them. The first one started to sit down with a smile on her face. The other woman stopped her with a hand on her arm. She said in a low voice that I could still hear, "We don't want to sit next to her." After I asked around a little, I found that the church hierarchy was angry that people talked with me and not with them. They felt that in my proactive approach, I was making them look bad. They told everyone that would listen that I was not really a part of their congregation. So much for that piece of paper saying I was a sworn member of this congregation. On another occasion, I was recovering from a sinus infection. It was not a cold or the flu. I was not infectious. I was seated at service when someone I had met before asked to sit down. I said sure and scooted a bit. After a couple of minutes, I had to sneeze. I had a Kleenex. This woman, who was supposed to be a pillar of this church, looked at me as though I was a leper. I tried to explain that I wasn't catchy, that it was just a sinus thing and that it was almost gone anyway. No reassurance by me made any difference. She left so quick the air thunderclapped behind her. Later, when I paid special attention to her, I noticed that she avoided anyone who was in any way not whole, well, or pious. It reminded me of the cripples, lepers, and unclean were not made welcome in the ancient times in the temple. I felt better. I already knew that she was not immune compromised, which I at least could have understood. By being unwell, she allocated me to the category of not belonging there. I was made to feel unwelcome in the old-style unclean of being banned from the worship in the temple. I hope she does not come to services during her period if that is how she feels. If she did attend, she would be showing her hypocrisy. Jesus was condemned for consorting with the outcasts, unclean, and damaged in this world. He healed them and comforted them. I believe our calling as Christians to see beyond the outside that may not fit our definition of worthy. Jesus abolished the temple rules on these things. You never know, Jesus might just show up to test how well you have learned your lessons in love. The next homeless person may be Jesus in disguise. I usually go to people who are not well so that they can find out if there's anything I can do to help. Sometimes they come to me. I like my way much better. If you find yourself drawing back from someone at church, ask yourself what Jesus might have done instead. You might decide not to do everything he did, but you do not need to treat them like lepers. Try to take a there but by the grace of God go I stance. Everyone gets sick sometimes. Treat people the way you hope to be treated should the roles be reversed. Even if you make no big effort to heal them, your acceptance of their basic humanity and frailty will do wonders in and of itself. To model the compassion that Jesus practiced. God bless the whole world, no exceptions. Angela Liza.